Marine 경기장 도시형.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are for our first game of Team Arena Challenge Season 2. It is NSHoSeo.Sage spawning as our red Protoss here at the 9 o'clock position on Shattered Temple. His opponent down at the 6 o'clock is dignitas.meRz spawning as our blue Terran player. Yes, yes.
Did I totally get that wrong?
Well, no, we actually
were talking about
we
this.
looked it up. Yes, it looks like MERZ's been playing Terran. It is on his TLPD. It represents him as a Protoss player there, so he is indeed playing Terran. So there you go.
Haven't seen a lot of him. But anyway, he is Terran, so it'll be a TVP. All right, well, this changes everything TVP, but that's okay because I like TVP better as a matchup anyway.
And Sage
so that is perfectly fine.
Sage's PVT is ridiculous. Let's just throw that out there.
He's good.
His win percentage is into the 60% in Korean tournaments, and he has been playing magnificently.
You know, I wanted to mention early on, well, very early, like the first thing that happened, we saw Sage say GG instead of good luck, have fun.
Yep.
Korean players actually don't say good luck, have fun. They usually say, like, GG at the start of games because it's kind of like, have a good game, right?
Right.
If you say, a lot of times when I was playing on the Korean server first, I would be like, good luck, have fun, and they would be like, question mark. They wouldn't understand it. So, yeah, that's kind of why he's not saying, I'm about to leave the game early at 5 seconds in. He's just saying, I hope we have a good game. So
what? You're Terran? GG, I'm
just
done.
In case anyone was curious about that, that is why you will see the Korean players do GG or GG good luck or something like that.
Well, the more you know. So here we have it, folks, and it looks like Barracks into gas now for MERZ, so he is not going the 1-Rax gasless FE route. His opponent, on the other hand, nothing too out of the ordinary. Gateway and his first gas just about to complete.
Yeah, now Sage shouldn't be too surprised to see that first gas right now. I mean, really, it's common for a map like this. The positions are quite close, but when he sees that gas, he's definitely going to need to kind of consider carefully if he wants to expand quickly because he doesn't know the opening that MERZ is doing quite yet. You know, it could be you know, low number of barracks expand. Could be 1 barracks, could be 2 barracks. Could also be something like a 1-1-1. He just doesn't know yet. So this is definitely going to make him play a lot more careful. Obviously, he's probably not going to go like Nexus first on this map. But in certain situations, okay, there's the reactor. In certain situations, you will see Protoss doing like 1 Rax expand. We'll have to see. But he's definitely going to want to play this one a little bit more careful, especially with the close air positions.
Yeah, you're definitely right. And we do see that reactor right away. We'll see how Sage is going to respond to this. Looks like he has his second gas coming up just in time to do some sort of a sentry expand if he desires. He could very, very well tack off of this, though. This is close positions by air, so likely to see drops as we move on through the game.
Right. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see Sage go, you know, 3-gate expand, or like robo-gate is probably a little bit more common right now in this situation. But I like what MERZ is actually doing. I'm a big fan of this expand versus Protoss right now. You get just enough gas to get the reactor on there. You can produce more Marines. You can kind of make the Protoss think a little bit, you know, oh boy, what opening is he going for?
Sure.
And it doesn't really slow down your command center all that much. And with the amount of Marines you have out, you're generally pretty safe to the early Stalker pokes too. So I love this 1-Rax with the reactor expand that Terrans are doing. We saw TSL Alive do this recently in the GSL as well, and it worked pretty well. Did it against Slayer's Browns.
Cool.
So,
and if you're wondering why MERZ actually mined 46 more gas, it's because his opponent's pro was still running around here. And he wanted to convince his opponent that he was continuing to mine gas so that he would react to something different entirely. Now, MERZ is putting up his second Rax after this. If you also notice a cute little trick there, because your mule, depending on your saturation at your base, will actually start mining in its last trip and not make it back, which means it's either going to pull minerals off that it's never going to return because it'll expire, or it's just going to deny mining where other SUVs could be using that patch. So he pulled it off there just to gain himself a little economic boost.
Let's take a look at Sage's base real quick here. He's got that Stalker out walking around the map, but you see he's got 2 gates here, so it will be a 3-gate expand. This is super, super safe. The only safer one would be like 3-gate robo against Terran, but if you go 3 gates like this, obviously you can get the Nexus a little bit earlier, and it also lets you put some pressure on your Terran opponent too. So this is something that MERZ is going to need to worry about a little bit. You can see him putting up 1 bunker already. May decide to throw down a second one, you know, when he sees what sort of pressure his Protoss opponent is going to throw at him. But yeah, both players just playing really safe, really stable right now. A gentleman's game, if you will. Tastos has used that term the other day. I like it. I like the term of the gentleman's game.
They're being very cordial. They're not attacking. Yes, you can macro. I can macro. It's okay.
There's a robo.
And we actually have 2 Marauders being produced at a time, with Concussive Shell as our first upgrade of choice from that tech lab. Soon he'll have 100 saved up so we can go into combat shields or stim.
As many casters have said, the most normal thing in the world coming out of really both players right now.
Definitely.
Shattered Temple is kind of an interesting map. You know, it's not your typical tournament map. A lot of tournament maps like to be a little bit bigger. You know, they like to let their players' economies get going a little bit more. But Shattered is quite a bit smaller, as we can see. So you do see this earlier aggression going, and it's kind of neat to see the players kind of react to that. I think it makes them play a lot differently than on a lot of other tournament maps.
Yeah, agreed. Very much so. And, you know, this one does have the potential to...
oh, where are you going, sentries?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure actually
careful.
where they were going.
I'm worried
They're going to
about
come back
those
home now
sentries,
to join this little push here in just a second, but there are a few Marauders that are making their way out now. Captures a Stalker.
Run, sentries.
That's a lot of the DPS in that army.
That's really risky for Sage to move out with all those sentries, especially with this very common timing push coming out from MERZ. Actually, I take it back. This is a little bit early. This is going to get there way before combat shields and stim finish. So what is MERZ doing? That's not a lot of DPS, but I think there might be enough here for Sage. Yeah, oh, yeah, he's going to be fine.
Yep. Trapping, very nice job trapping all the Marines in as well. And the Marauders, without that Marine support, yeah, they have concussive shells done, but they're really just not all that powerful. They're actually just all going to die.
I don't know really what MERZ was thinking moving out like this. I mean, this isn't connected to any sort of timing really for his upgrades. It just kind of felt like MERZ was like, well, I haven't been attacked in a while, so I guess I'll just go out and see if I can do any damage. But as you can see, this was not a good timing for him at all. He's going to lose his whole army pretty much right before stim and combat shields finish. And, you know, yeah, I mean, when you're going bio, you can replace it fairly quickly, but, you know, not a very good choice by MERZ there. He's starting to go into ghost production. That just means he's going to have less Marauders now.
Right.
He's really setting himself up for a pretty weak mid-game at this point.
Well, we'll see if he can defend this next push. It looks like he does have multiple bunkers up, even has an engineering bay there just to funnel troops through a little bit better.
It's there for moral support.
I guess
not using it for upgrades or anything.
It's okay, guys.
Oh, this is going to be hard for MERZ to stop, rather. He does have those bunkers. You can see him already pulling SCVs. He's going to need to do that.
Yeah, but that's already a lot of lost mining time, especially when his opponent's double producing probes right now. Worker count is 42 to 40 in favor of Sage. Of course, with the mules that MERZ does have down, his economic rate is going to be a little bit better. That is, if he hasn't pulled, 10 SCVs off the line.
You know, Sage, you can see he didn't push. I think the reason for that is he used up a lot of his sentry energy killing off the army of MERZ. So if he attacked there, he'd maybe get like one good round of force field, but if it took more than that, he'd have to pull back. Might lose some units. So instead, he's just kind of doing some sort of foresight, I would say, taking out those rocks. He might decide to push up and try to come through the other side, but I think more likely he's just kind of preparing that just in case he needs to get through there later on.
Sure.
But no, he may actually just do this to bypass the bunkers.
Wow.
All right, this is going to be a little bit interesting.
All right, well, MERZ is not going to pick up on this. That engineering bay is out of vision of the destructible rocks. It's going to go down. Unfortunately, MERZ was actually way supply blocked there for a second, so he ended up investing in infrastructure, 2 more barracks, upgrades, etc., going down at the same time. This observer is going to get through and see that there's, well, everything's pushed back at the moment. Here it comes from Sage.
This is actually funny because this is not something a Protoss would normally be doing with this build with that double forge. Normally you'd want to be a lot safer, but because of the, nice EMPs catching some of the sentries, but maybe not quite enough of them. He's able to be this aggressive because of MERZ losing his army early on. Normally he wouldn't do that. But, yeah, it looks like he's just going to kill off the engineering bay, stop the upgrades. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, moral support engineering bay has died, and the supplies do favor Sage at the moment, and his tech is kind of running rampant right now. He's on double forge, chrono boosting out upgrades. He's researching Blink and investing in Robo Bay while putting up 3 gates at the same time. Yeah. Obviously, that allowed MERZ to get a little bit closer in supply, but the advantage is still there for Sage, and his tech is going to be way better than his opponent.
Yeah, this drop might do some damage. Sage a little bit out of position here. We'll see how fast he can warp in some units to deal with this. This is actually a pretty good idea by MERZ. This is what you do if you're a little bit behind in your TVP and you need to make something happen. And with some good micro, he certainly could make something happen. Looks like some of the units are back. He's going to be able to kill some of these stalkers, but no, he's going to lose both his medevacs. He's going to lose actually everything just for trading a few stalkers. That did not work out quite as well as MERZ would have hoped.
Yeah, MERZ didn't kill any tech or anything like that, certainly, but, I do think I'm going to take a look at the total units killed. Wow, ouch. 45 for Sage right now to just 15 for MERZ. Now, of course, the units that he did kill for Sage right there were pretty high value in those stalkers, but still not all the damage he wanted to get done with that drop.
You can see they're even on supply, but I mean, just look at the upgrades right now. 2-2 already started when 1-1 is not even halfway done yet for MERZ. He's also, you know, like we mentioned earlier, Sage is getting Colossi and things like that. He's basically just in like the best spot ever a Protoss would want to be right now. He's like, all right, I've killed a lot of your units. I can actually just defend and I can tech and get upgrades as much as I want because I'm just going to have more stuff at this point.
And RoboBay was revealed, so MERZ decided to put down another starport right away. Actually going to throw that on a reactor as well.
Like
so he'll be either quad producing, well, air units definitely, probably split them between Vikings and Medivacs.
I got to say, MERZ is taking all the right risks here. He's not doing any sort of like silly frontal attack. He's getting, you know, he's getting lots of extra Vikings because he knows his opponent is going Colossus because of his factory scouting. He's making another command center. He's going to try to expand. Even though if his opponent attacks, he might have a bit of a hard time defending it.
Sure.
So, you know, when you're in this position like MERZ is, you have to take risks. MERZ is taking all the right ones. And so, yeah, if anything gets him back into this game, this certainly will. And really, you know, beside the upgrade front, I would say he's still in it for sure.
Oh, he's definitely in it. One good engagement goes his way, and, you know, things are looking certainly different in this game. Now, Sage did decide to put down a third base here at the top left-hand corner and cleared up those destructible rocks so he can put down his gold as well. He has incredible map control right now. Look at that. I take a look at Sage's vision, and he has basically everything on the map.
Yeah, he's got pylons pretty much everywhere, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, looks like MERZ is going to try to go for the gold, actually, but like you said, there's nothing that goes on this map that Sage does not know about, like a cricket is hopping through the grass on one of the other bases, and Sage is like, go ahead, cricket, go about your business. I'm fine with that.
But do know that I have noted your progress.
That's right.
All right, so there we go.
Sign in as you move to the other base, cricket. Thank you.
Command center is down. 150 gas pops up. Imagine we'll see a PF. No, orbital command. Another one of those risks you were talking about is he wants to go ahead. It's not as safe of an expansion, but he wants to pull ahead in economy.
It's all the right risks. I mean, you got to do something like this if you want to have a chance of winning this game. Uh-oh, looks like Sage wants to maybe blink up into the main. We'll see. With that third base up and running with all that gas, he might be able to add on Templar Tech as well. We'll have to see.
Wow.
Oh, and this is going to be some damage that I don't know if MERZ can really handle right now.
MERZ is pulled way out of position. It looks like he's going to make his way up. Sage throws down the Guardian Shield. May catch a couple of Colossi without them firing. That's great for him. He's actually pulled a 20 supply advantage in this game. I've got to say, MERZ's macro has been very, very good.
Yeah, he certainly has been, and he's catching Sage's army in the worst possible position right now. Sage may have kind of overstepped his bounds a little bit here with this. Oh, great EMPs. Wow, everything, pretty much everything is EMP'd. The second Colossus goes down. They're not going to be too much of a factor in this fight.
Whoa! Nice. And MERZ is just pulling such a big advantage right now. Kills the last Colossus as well, running over the rest of the units. All of those sentries were EMP. There is one Guardian Shield up. That's pretty much all the energy remaining out of these sentries. MERZ now up by 30 supply and just killing so much stuff right now.
This is going to be it, I think. I don't think Sage can hold this off. All the Colossi are gone. The upgrades are nice, but I mean, I don't know what to say. MERZ just outmaneuvered him, and he had more units. The double starport was so brilliant to handle those Colossi.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, he seemed to be taking all the right risks, and sometimes those risks pay off. And catching Sage like he did in that position really, really gave him a great chance to win this game.
Yeah, Sage pulled such a big advantage at the beginning, though, that you just thought that MERZ was fighting such the uphill battle, but his comeback has been so good right now. Now, supplies are about even for our players. We do have 3-3 upgrades just about to finish up for our Protoss player, and Sage is getting his Dark Shrine at the same time.
Yeah, you see that kind of, I think it's kind of an emergency Dark Shrine here because he needs something that's going to kind of contain MERZ a little bit while he macros up again. You can see the supply is down. He's adding that second Robo. He wants to get more Colossi. You know, if MERZ, be careful. Whoa. You know, MERZ may decide to kind of hold off on Viking production for a little bit here if he thinks that his opponent's going to maybe go into Templar attack. A lot of Protoss do like to do that at this point.
My apologies. There was actually a Zealot run by there in the back of the natural. I do apologize for missing the front of that. Looks like it did some pretty good damage. About 14 workers have been killed this entire game. Of course, Sage killed a few at the beginning of the game, but that does represent a 46 to 70 worker advantage now for Sage. Of course, he is still a little bit down in supply, which means his army is a lot weaker than his opponent, though.
Yeah, you know, Sage, now we're seeing what Protoss needs to do to kind of get back into it in these types of games and these little Zealot harassments. You can remember way back at the start he took those rocks down. This is where it's all coming in handy now. He can do this constant pressure, just do things like this. He's going to bring in some more DTs probably even later. Just keep MERZ contained as long as he can.
Right.
Kind of let himself get that big, powerful death ball and then just try to win a big engagement in the middle of the map.
And we'll see if he can do just that. He's got a lot of stuff back at home right now. It's a fairly formidable force. He has split this up at the moment. Looks like 4 more Zealots running their way around the right-hand side. And even... Oh, there we go.
Yep.
There are the DTs with +3 weapons. Guys, DTs are so strong once they gain those weapons.
The
upgrades.
one-shot SCVs
this
even
is so
harder
smart.
now.
And he's going to move through the front as well, trying to take out missile turrets and drawing Merce's attention away. Here come the rest of the units, but... It looks like the Zealots are largely picked up on. There's the scan to make sure there's no DTs. One goes down right away, the second running away.
The one Zealot's like, can you teach me to be invisible, please?
All right.
Wow, shield upgrades already on the way for Sage. Oh, and he did deny that gold base for MERZ. So,
yes, he did.
You know, MERZ still not out of the fire yet, despite having some little victories here and there. Templar tech on the way now for Sage, and I think that's what he's really kind of waiting for. He wants to stay alive to the point where he can get out some Archons and some Psy Storms, and you know, then engage after that. Yeah, he's warping in a lot of Templar right now.
Yes.
No Psy Storm upgrade quite yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it pretty soon here.
Yeah, he had a big amount of gas saved up as well, so not a bad gas sink right there. Oh, those Stalkers have to watch out.
Yeah, Sage not paying attention there, almost losing a couple Stalkers. He did lose one.
Yeah.
Oh, and Archon's right away for Sage. Okay, so he's going to skip Storm for a little while.
No 4th base from MERZ quite yet, though. Now, again, if you take out the difference in workers, that means there's a huge supply advantage for MERZ in terms of standing army, but still, he's just not really going to have a lot of economy to fall back on, and it looks like he is taking a lot of damage to this harassment. A couple of supply depots went down, actually supply capping him.
Ah, yeah, very nice harassment from the Protoss player. Any Terran can tell you that DTs and Zealots are just about the most annoying thing in the entire world in a situation like this. You just hate to be like, oh, again? Then you have to go back, you have to scan, you have to be like, all right, should I just put up a wall? Should I just leave some units here? I mean, it's just an annoying situation to be in, and that is a large Colossus count.
Wow! And a huge amount of Archons with that as well. So this is a pretty formidable force. As you mentioned, the upgrade's 313 at the moment.
It's going to be 8 soon, too, I believe.
Where is MERZ's 4th base? He's just never put it up. And look at this. He's almost mined out of his gold.
Yeah, you know, Sage's doing a good job of containing him, kind of like what we've been talking about here. He's a quadruple producing Vikings again, but that's a big resource sink when you're only on essentially almost 1 base right now. His bio is going to be much weaker. It looks like Sage has picked this time as the time to move out. Both players are essentially maxed out. 3-3, though, is not done yet for MERZ.
No.
Maybe a big difference.
Yeah, it certainly could be, but look at that. 5th base now coming up for Sage. Looks like Sage throwing down the Guardian Shield, wants to run around the side. MERZ, where's the rest of your army right now? He looks like he was worrying about the DTs inside of his natural more than anything else, and that may have forfeited a couple of bases. Nice EMPs hitting that front line of forces, though.
Not bad. Some more good EMPs going down, but is it going to be enough? Those Zealots all without shields. And yeah, Sage might need to pull back a little bit. So many Vikings and not really much anti-air.
No, not at all.
If anything wins this game for MERZ, that is going to be it.
All right, well,
MERZ does have enough Archons.
Yeah, MERZ pulling back with the rest of his units right now. The Vikings have actually all gone down.
Yeah.
MERZ just really doesn't have a lot to go ahead and combat this army head on. Yet another stim, and all those units are in the orange. The Archons were taking so much damage, and nothing has attacked these Colossi yet.
You know, it looks like a smaller army for Protoss, but the upgrades really showing their strength right now. GGO from MERZ. And that was actually an awesome game 1.
That was a really, really good way to start game number 1. And NSHoSeo goes up 1-0 in this best of 9.